Howdy everybody, welcome back to another Sims lore video. We are back with another sort of pack here, The Sims 3 Late Night. And this world, Bridgeport, has some pretty interesting ghosts in it. And we're going to be covering two of them because they're actually kind of connected to the vampires of Bridgeport, because there's a whole vampire war going on in Bridgeport. I'm not going to cover that. There's other people that have covered the vampires in Bridgeport. I'm not going to cover them, but I am going to cover these two ghosts because they are pretty interesting and pretty weird, and they're actually connected to the characters. And one of them, Lotta Greaves, she actually has relationships with Elvira and Vlad, so she's actually connected, and she has pre-made relationships with these Sims. So it's pretty interesting. And, you know, they're buried in, like, weird spots in the map. Like, one of them's, like, buried near a dumpster. The other one's buried behind a club. It is weird. And, you know, there's some creepy stuff going on in this city, man. I mean, it is creepy. Something's going on with these vampires, man. And I think Elvira might have had something to do with it, because she is a pretty evil character. But, yeah, without further ado, let's get on with the video. Alright, the first thing we're going to discuss is the ghost of Sinjon Frank. Now, this guy is buried behind the movie Cineplex. And it's pretty weird. I'll put up a picture of where he's buried. And he is pretty weird looking. And he died of thirst. Now, if you don't know what that means he would have been a vampire, because only vampires can die of thirst, because, you know, they need to drink plasma/blood. They called it plasma for some reason. But yeah, what's weird about this guy is when you resurrect him, he isn't a vampire. He's not a vampire. So, how he died of thirst doesn't really make much sense. But his traits are good sense of humor, childish, mean-spirited, and his lifetime wish was to be a superstar actor. So that could be why he's, you know, buried behind the movie Cineplex. Now, unfortunately, that's all I have on Sinjon Frank. There's really not much known about this guy. That's all the information I could find on this dude. It's odd. He's just kind of a strange character that's just placed there and no real explanation. But the next one is the most interesting. Lotta Greaves. She was a female young adult. Why did I say she was she was a young adult. And what's kind of interesting about her is, once again, she's a deceased Sim who was buried behind Plasma 501. That seems to be a thing with these ghosts. They're buried behind other buildings. Now, Plasma 501 is a vampire club. Kind of weird that she was buried behind the vampire club. And she died because of a fire, which is pretty sinister. Like, goddamn, a fire. So she did not have a nice death. But her traits are no sense of humor, charismatic, and light sleeper. So she only had 3 traits. And her lifetime wish was to be super popular. And she had 3 points in cooking. Now, what's kind of interesting about her is she actually has relationships with 2 of the Sims in Bridgeport. She is friends with Vladimir Slick, but she is enemies with Elvira. Now, Elvira and Vlad are supposed to be friends, so it's kind of weird that she didn't get along with Elvira, and she was enemies with Elvira. Now, it's kind of weird, you know, that she was enemies with Elvira. Now, my sort of theory here is that maybe Lotta Greaves wanted to become a vampire. Maybe she wanted to become a vampire, and she was friends with Vlad, and Vlad was going to, you know, make her become a vampire, but Elvira didn't want that because she didn't want new vampires in town. So she killed her. That's what I think. Now, you can also find an urn inside the club as well, inside Plasma 501, but it's just a random urn. There's nobody, you know, haunting it. But, yeah, Lotta Greaves is a really weird character. Once again, not much known about her. But yeah, I wanted to do a video covering these 2 ghosts. As I said, there's not much info on them. I tried to say as much as I could find, but came up with my own theories for it. And personally, I think that my theory makes the most sense, because I don't see what other explanation there could be. But yeah, I'm going to leave this short little video here. I'll see y'all on the next one. Goodbye.